Welcome to another episode of Visionary Voices 2.0. Today, we have with us Mr. Siddharth Bhagwat, CEO of Sustain and Save. Mr. Bhagwat is an innovative sustainability professional and has led several impactful environmental initiatives across multiple continents. We are glad to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you, guys.
For our first question, sir, we would like to ask you that certain initiatives like the CBAM and carbon tax, do you think such kind of initiatives by entities like the EU are hindrances for developing economies like India?
Things like CBAM, I would say it can be looked at as both ways. For an Indian manufacturer who's just getting started and whose majority of clients are based in Europe, yes, it is going to be a bit of a challenge for them to cope with CBAM, right? But EU, what they have done is they have given a transition period. So right now in the 2 years that we have till Jan 26, we are still going to be in the transition phase, right? There's no penalty that's going to be imposed yet. But once we pass the 2026 threshold, then we need to be very careful as to what reporting are we doing to the European counterparts. And businesses, I would recommend start getting prepared for it from now, where you have your LCA or your CBAM reporting done and where you know what is the carbon footprint of your product. And if you know that today, you can pinpoint in your emission supply chain and identify which are the areas you need to act on to reduce your emissions. Right. So if you prepare for it from now, then I think by the time when the regulation becomes effective in 26, you would be much more prepared for it.
Do you think that like sustainability evolved into the triple bottom line and then that concept further evolved into ESG? So conceptually we have evolved a lot, but do you think in practice it has been achievable, or do you think there is a lot of greenwashing also that goes on around companies?
So I would say, if you look at the entire industry, ESG is a fairly new concept, right? Yeah. Like you said. True. So we've gone through multiple such transformations over the past. We've gone through entire social uprising, right? In the early 2000s, late 90s. You must have heard of the Apple story, right? In Foxconn. Right. Yes. In China, where there was a lot of reports coming out of, the workers' health scenarios and all those things. Volkswagen also had to deal with the whole Dieselgate scandal, right? That came about. So companies are preparing towards ESG from a different lens. See, at the end of the day, as a businessman, you have to look at the business lens of things, right? So if it's a risk to your business that you need to mitigate now, ESG will definitely be looked at. And you can see the transformations happening now where a lot of the suppliers to these major companies also have to follow the same ESG norms, right? Whether it's to do with their ES or G part. True. So this is going to slowly trickle down the supply chain like a domino effect. And I think within the next 3 to 4 years, you will have a majority of the industry going and doing it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for tuning in.